Which type of tattoo makes you cringe the most? A guy here, UK, had his wifey's name tattooed on his face. And I don't mean just once. He had it once above each eyebrow, once on each cheekbone, once on each cheek and one each side of his jaw. So total like 8 times. I was a kid at the time and my then friend's mom was best friends with the wifey in question. Because of this, I knew they had a really volatile relationship, so even then as a kid I was like, why would you do that? Anyway, fast forward a few years and the guy separated from the wifey and couldn't get a job. You know. Due to the fact her had her name tattooed 8 times on his face. So the taxpayer paid for him to have tattoo removal. That's right, ladies and gents. We just be paying for this idiot's mistakes. I dated an attorney for a bit. He did criminal defense and also was one of the public defenders in the county. There were times when I would go shopping with him to get clothes for female defendants that were going to court. One of his clients was in jail for assault on police officer. She had "fuck the police" tattooed on her neck, so I had to find a turtleneck for her. My boyfriend called it defending the guilty, and a few innocent ones. Nevertheless, he did his best to get folks into rehab or some other thing that might help them in the future. He really hated people getting twisted for prostitution and pot crimes. Mine said something along the lines of, are they guilty? No. Are they innocent? Also no. He did good though, got people the help they needed and kept the bad guys in jail. Former tattoo artist here, and it has to be infinity symbols. Especially when they want them to be unique, so they have you spend 3 hours drawing up different ways of cramming little McKisley and Braxton's names, birth dates, birth weights, blood types, and favorite ice cream flavors in there. Fine, I'll find a way. I can work for my money. Oh, and can it also have a thin blue line in there for my husband? Sure, lady. And maybe some birds breaking off of it, cause my Mima loves birds. Sigh. Yeah, okay. And can you do it on the side of my finger in white ink? Fuck you, get out. Edit, bonus points on these if they walk in holding a monogrammed Yeti tumbler full of the alcohol they're trying to smuggle in. Sayings, especially ones that span multiple limbs/areas. I was in the army with a guy from Texas that thought he was hard as woodpecker lips. Had "cowboy the fuck up" tattooed across his forearms, ostensibly so if he put his fists up to fight you, you would read it and, I don't know, be scared or something? He never got in any fights that I know of, but due to the size he wanted it and shitty planning, one arm said "cowboy the" and the other arm simply read "fuck up." And he immediately became known as "cowboy the fuck up." ETA, dumbass PV2 Waldo gets me my first gold award lol thanks stranger. When I was 15 I was hanging out with a group of friends and we get a phone call from our weed guy and says he's doing tattoos for $20 in his basement. There were 6 of us and the car only fit 5, and I said you guys are stupid if you think you're going to get a good tattoo from this guy. One guy got love on one wrist and hate on the other and it looked like a child wrote it. Another guy got a Celtic cross on his arm that looked like shit. Another got a word written on his side across his ribs and the tattoo artist told him to keep his arm stretched up high while he was doing it. Now when he puts his arm down the word gets squished together. Somehow they still thought they were so fucking cool afterwards and showed them to everyone at school while everyone made fun of them. The love-hate guy kept them pretty private and is also the only one of them that's a good person lol. I have over 200 hours of tattoos and that is my only regrettable one. It's big, it's pretty solid black so I can't easily cover it with a new tattoo like my other older ones, and, I got it on my back, like maybe 15 years ago when I got it it made sense but how the hell can I show someone an ambigram on my back? I sure as hell can't do a handstand. I remember years ago when INXS had a reality show to choose their next lead singer. The boy who eventually won had human down one arm and being down the other. That's bad enough on its own. But at one point he was giving a disingenuous pep talk to one of the other contestants, and finished it with "Don't worry bro, it's all part of, puts arms together, being human." I'm still cringing hard at that. It's really the worst isn't it? I have that damn thing on my body and I hate it. Got it when I was like 19 and watching my friend get a real tattoo. He talked me into getting something off the wall and that's what I picked. I still regret getting that one. I have a bunch of nice pieces of art on my body and that's just sitting there being stupid looking. Oh well. I could get it lasered off with 2 quick sessions and covered up if I really cared to. Probably cost about $1,000 total. I hooked up with woman who has a tramp stamp which reads damaged. The font is fairly terrible so the first time we had sex, I thought it said demigod which while arrogant and odd, wasn't enough to stop the arousal of my primitive monkey brain. The next time we had sex and I realized what it actually said, It really took me out of the moment and I never went back. It's hard to avoid people in a small town, but it's gotta be even harder to keep a tattoo like that from becoming quality gossip. Tribal tattoos on suburbanites. Friend of mine got a one-night stand's name tattooed on her foot while her fiancé was in prison, so that's wrong on at least 3 different levels, but basically anything with the name of an SO immediately makes me think there's real potential for regret there. Live, laugh, love usually gets a reg. Oh, and Hatchet Man tattoos, because I have one and I cringe whenever I see it. Edit, forgot kanji because it's usually mistranslated. That amuses me more than anything, though. A childhood friend of mine and her husband both had the same first initial and were both tattoo enthusiasts. They didn't want to fall victim to the tattoo curse, so they decided just to get their first initial tattooed on each of them. Yeah, the marriage still failed anyway. Right after 9/11, one of my friends said she wanted a tattoo of the American flag inside a heart. I told her to her face that it was a stupid idea. She got really mad at me. 1 week later, she called and said she decided I was right. I lost track of her years ago, but I'm betting she's feeling pretty glad she didn't get that tattoo right about now. The pair of red lips tattoo makes me cringe. When I was getting one of my tattoos, some gangster came in asking for a price on a pair of lips. After he walked out, the tattoo artist went laughing about how stupid that tattoo is. I actually have one of those. An ex once asked me to get a tattoo of her lipstick stain on my ribs, but I said the only person I would do that for was myself. So now, as a statement for self-love, I have my own red lipstick print on my ribs. It's actually one of my favorite tattoos so far. That's actually pretty cool that you did it for yourself. I think the meaning behind it definitely matters, as does the person the tattoo is on. Plus, if you like it, that's all that really matters. I used to work with this chick with a big-ass Pepe Le Pew tattoo on her leg, and she no shit was stalking my supervisor. Driving by his house, calling him, showing up at places he was at. And all this was before smartphones, 1998 Nokia era, so it had to have taken a lot of effort. She eventually had a restraining order taken out on her, was fired, and never did get the irony that she had a gross sexual predator skunk on her leg. For extra cringe, her kids were named Thad, Chad, and Rad. I went to school with Thad, who was nice and super embarrassed by her. Hope he's survived and lives far, far away now. Holy shit. You can't even make things like this up. Right? I couldn't believe how cool the supervisor was about it for so long. It's a major company, little green mascot with a tail and British accent, and he was one of the youngest supervisors in the history of the company at the time. Super brilliant dude. I think just didn't want it to have to be a thing. Would you rather be the smart as hell rockstar kid or the being stalked by a wackadoo twice his age and can hang kid? I always thought it was very mature of him, but absolutely too kind. We're lucky he wasn't made into a set of skin pajamas in hindsight.